I am Brian S. Braun-Duin.
And I am Chris VanMeter.
Middle initial? No middle initial?
Nope, just CVM.
Okay.
Nice and easy. And we're here with our inaugural weekly versus video series.
Yes.
BBD versus CVM, so you guys will be seeing a lot more of us.
And like the awesome part about BBD versus CVM is the BBD comes first. Like BBD is the first name.
Alphabetically, BBD comes before CVM.
Yeah. So today for our first battle, we are going to be playing two of the decks from the World Championships. I am playing Shahar Shenhar's winning blue-white-red flash list.
Yep. And I'm playing Kibler's green-red aggro. He 3-0'd the standard portion. It definitely was I feel like it was the best deck in that meta for that tournament. And I think it's going to be a major player moving forward. As we saw last week, there were lots of copies in the Knoxville Classic top 8 and top 16, as well as in the Minneapolis Open top 8 and top 16 too.
Yeah, people really jumped on that deck quickly, and it's having played against it a number of times, it's a very powerful deck. So we will definitely be seeing that a lot moving forward. So
definitely.
But yeah, let's start out by talking a little about some of the cards in Shahar's deck that I really liked. Number 1, War Leader's Helix. I think that card is exceptionally good right now. What do you think about it?
Definitely, I think it's very good right now. Especially since we still have Snapcaster Mage in the format. A lot of people have asked me how it compares to Lightning Helix, and I feel like even though it's 2 more mana just for 1 more damage in life gain, I still feel it's like on the same power level as Lightning Helix, and we're just now starting to realize how good it is.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Like, I don't think it's definitely not quite on the same. Like, Helix you could just play 4 of easily in your deck. With Lightning Helix, I should say. With War Leader's Helix, you have to kind of keep the mana cost as a consideration. Like, we're only playing 2 in this list just because it costs 4. But in terms of power level, when you actually cast the card or when you actually draw the card, it is pretty comparable, I feel.
Definitely.
And it gives this deck a great way to attack Planeswalkers, which are otherwise a problem. Like, your Domri Rods will probably be a huge issue if I don't draw these cards. So.
Exactly.
Another card is It Charm, which is just a 1 of in the list, but I actually like this card a lot right now. Planeswalkers are seeing a huge amount of play. And Is It Charm is just a great counter for Planeswalkers, but also can just be a removal spell if you needed to.
Definitely, and the seldom used 3rd mode where you just get to loot is actually very good too. It makes sense for us to go down to like 3 copies of Revelation in the deck and shave some numbers on cards like War Leader's Helix, because mid to late game we can just loot with our Is It Charms to get rid of worthless lands to try and draw into our action.
Right, and this deck, one of the things about this deck is like all your cards are kind of like, sometimes like only half a card, or like, you know, you have to 2-for-1 yourself to kill one of your opponent's creatures, but like Revelation's how you pull ahead with it, and just having some way to dig to the Revelation like is pretty key.
Definitely.
And then the other thing is Moorland Haunt. There's only 10 creatures in this deck, but yet there's still 2 Moorland Haunts, and I actually like that a lot because this deck you really go through a lot of your deck between Think Twices and Revelations. Like sometimes you go through like 40 cards in your deck, and even though there's only 10 creatures, you're still going to have like maybe 5 or 6 in your yard by the time the game ends. And that's actually, that's still 6 spirits. That's actually reasonable, like a reasonable clock.
Yeah, I definitely like Moorland Haunt as well. I'm still not sure if it's better than Mutavault.
It might not be
in that slot, but I mean, Shahar won. He's a very, very, very good Magic player, so I definitely think it's at least worth trying out.
Yep. And then the last card is 2 Celestial Flare in the sideboard, which is like the new M14 card, and it gives this deck a way to beat Hexproof. Even though Geist of St. Traff makes an Angel, you can still kill it with the Angel trigger on this deck. And it's just another answer along with Supreme Verdict to kill like Invisible Stalkers and stuff. So I think this is a huge a huge thing that Blue-White-Red gained from M14 is the ability to combat Hexproof out of the sideboard.
I definitely agree. Not only does it let us combat Hexproof out of the sideboard, but it's also a very good card against Thundermaw Hellkite.
It is.
So a lot of times against the decks with Thundermaw Hellkite, like you'll stabilize and then lose to a top deck Thundermaw Hellkite later on in the game. And we had Azorius Charm before that we can just delay it for a turn, but since we're not playing Thought Scour anymore as a 1-2 combo with Charm as a removal spell, Celestial Flare does give us another answer to Thundermaw.
Yep, I agree. So let's talk a little bit about some of the cards in your deck.
Definitely. So this red-green deck is a little bit different than you would come to expect most red-green decks. We have eschewed Burning Tree Emissary for Strangle-Root Geist. And I actually like it quite a bit. Strangle-Root Geist gives us a resilient threat. It works great with Domri when we're fighting, but it also gives us a card that we can sideboard out and not be sad about against some of the other decks. Most of the time with Burning Tree Emissary, the deck is so focused around that you don't want to cut 2 drops or Emissary itself with Strangler Root Geist, we can take it out.
And a lot of times you're stuck playing cards like Gyre Sage, which I personally consider to be like somewhere between terrible and the nut low. And not playing Burning Tree Emissary means you don't have to play as many like really bad 2-drops. You can play like good cards, all good cards. So
definitely. Another awesome 2-drop from M14 is Scavenging Ooze. I played this deck this last weekend in Knoxville, and this was one of the cards that surprised me the most. A lot of times, you think that you would rather keep Strangler Root Geist against like the control decks and side out Scavenging Ooze, but on like turn 7 or 8, this is just a 6/6 creature against the control decks, and they have to have an answer for it. Whereas Strangler Root Geist is just another idiot.
Right, and like Ooze dodges like a lot of the stuff like Pillar of Flame. Like it can even dodge like War Leader's Helix at certain points in the game. And it also turns off Snapcaster Mages, which is pretty key.
It definitely does turn off the Snapcaster. Plus, it stops Undying. So against any of the decks that might have Undying creatures, Scavenging Ooze definitely is able to turn off the Undying.
Yep, like good old Strangler Root
Good old Strangler Root Geist. And then last we have Thundermaw Hellkite. I honestly feel like this is probably the best creature currently in the format. I think that Lifebane Zombie is going to have such a profound impact on Standard that's going to make us have to build our decks differently, similar to how like Dismember and Jace did in the past. And this is the current answer as far as how I feel the format's going to be moving.
Yeah, I think that's like an excellent point. One of the, I know from playing a Lifebane Zombie deck against that deck, I thought Lifebane Zombie was going to be better than it was, and it was actually pretty bad against this deck. And I think that's like a very important point. Is your two best creatures are a red 5-drop and a red 4-drop, like Hellrider and Thundermaw Hellkite. So, neither of those creatures really care too much about Lifebane Zombie.
And plus, we play enough of the green creatures that, for the support, like Zombie can just like take a Rampager, and we just don't care because we're drawing cards with Domri and killing them with 5/5s.
Yep, absolutely.
The last card that I want to talk about in the main deck is the Kessig Wolf Run. A lot of times when playing this deck, I felt like I wanted another red source. And I know in Kibler's Deck Tech 40, he talked about how Wolf Run was a red source, and then he changed it at the last minute. And I still like the Wolf Run, but it could be possible that one of the forests should be a Gruul Guildgate, or maybe this should just be a mountain, and the Wolf Run could be in the sideboard as a 25th land. I know I definitely wanted to go up to 25 lands when I was bringing in some of the 4s and 5s out of the sideboard.
Right, yeah, like this list can definitely side into a pretty mana-hungry deck in post-board games, like against a lot of decks where you want to bring in like both Burning Earth and like Gruul War Chant, or like
conscripts.
Yeah, or conscripts. Like you have like a glut of 4s and 5s, but you're still a 24 land deck. And if they just like aggressively kill your mana guys, you can just stumble and like have all those cards in your hand. And I know one thing from playing, I've played against this deck a lot with Reanimator, and I've been very aggressive targeting the mana guys with my Abrupt Decays and Putrefies, because I know that sometimes like I can just get a free win from you being stuck with 4s and 5s and not hitting your land drops to get there.
Definitely.
So I think having a 25th land would be a very good idea.
I definitely agree. One of the big advantages of Domri is you get to a crux in the game where you're casting 2 spells because you're just drawing extra creatures, and hitting the mana guys like just delays that point so far that once you get there, it just doesn't matter.
Yep.
There are some awesome cards in the sideboard. Burning Earth is one of the most exciting cards, at least for myself. I feel the 2 most popular decks in the format, and arguably the most powerful decks, Blue, White, Red, and Jund, and both of them almost just automatically lose to this card. It's just not getting enough respect from those decks. Like Jund plays like 2 Golgari Charms that can kill it, and most of these decks play like 2 Detention Spheres that can kill it. And with mana guys landing it on turn 3, it's just almost game over if they don't have one of their 2 answers in their deck.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, the card is just Mana Barbs, but it's still good enough.
Mana Barbs you.
Yeah. But it's still definitely good enough, and I agree. Like, the Jund and Blue, White, Red still are not adapting very well to fighting the card, and I think they definitely should be. And I think before, not enough people were playing Burning Earth to really warrant it, but at this point, with the success and popularity of this deck, I think it's time for Jund and Blue, White, Red to either like throw in a couple of basic lands, like you can Farseek for a mountain or a swamp, like you don't have to get a dual land, or just run actual answers, just beyond just like your 1 or 2 Golgari Charms.
Definitely. One thing that I think that these types of decks could be able to play is a card that I played in the sideboard of my Invitational deck. Junk Aristocrats was War Piece of Thune.
Yep.
I think that definitely could be a very good card out of the sideboard of Flash. That hits this, like it hits opposing Detention Spheres if somebody's playing it. It hits Intangible Virtue. It hits the enchantments out of Bant Hexproof. And it can block.
Yep, and it's also not an angel, so you can blink it with Restoration Angel.
That is correct.
So,
The last card is Gruul Warchant on the sideboard. I know that Kibler had tweeted that this was a card that he felt like Chandra Pyromancer would be better than. In this last weekend, I actually played Rurik Thar instead of Gruul Warchant, which also makes me want a 25th land in the sideboard. And I really like Rurik Thar, but I'm still going to give the Gruul Warchant a shot. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be very good in this matchup, but the main idea is against like the Thragtusk decks is you play Warchant, attack them, they play Thragtusk, and then you just take it and they're dead because they just can't block anything ever.
Yeah, and I also, when I've played Gruul Warchant before, I felt like anytime I see Lockstone Smiter cast against me, Warchant's coming in.
Definitely. It's very good against Warchant. This deck is pretty soft to Smiter. I honestly expect to see a lot more Smiters as we move forward in the standard meta.
Yeah, for sure. But Chandra does a lot of the same thing too, though.
Definitely.
Makes a creature not be able to block, and then has a bunch of other abilities that are sometimes pretty cool. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, these are the two decks we're going to battle. So hopefully we will begin our inaugural BBD versus CVM with a BBD victory over CVM.
Nope.
All right. Determine who goes first. You want to play a game of Yahtzee?
Yeah, we'll do some poker hand Yahtzee.
All right.
It's not quite lobster, tiger, lizard, but.
Full house. I guess I'll keep that.
Oh man! All right, so I got to beat. We'll leave this up here so everybody can see it.
Yep. You have to
beat
threes
full of twos, and I get 3 rolls. A straight doesn't beat a full house. Wow, this sucks. All right.
2 threes isn't too bad. I hope it's
right,
3-2-2.
We're drawing the slim here.
All right, game. All right, I will play first.
Sure. That's unfortunate. I think I want to be on the play here.
Yeah, this is a keeper. It's not terrible or exciting, but it's...
Yeah, I mean, mine's much better on the play than the draw, but it is a keepable hand, so I will keep as well.
All right, go.
Go ahead.
We'll turn 1 Arbor Elf.
Yep.
Your turn.
All right. So I can just play this, but I don't think that that is worth it at this point. So I think that I'm just going to play Scavenging Ooze.
Scavenging Ooze resolves.
And then I'll cast an Elvish Mystic.
Also resolves.
And I'll pass.
I'll go ahead and draw a card.
Sure. So last turn I could have just played this, but it's definitely just walking right into a Syncopate, so there's just
Your turn.
no point to jam it there. So I could also cast this, but that just goes by the same reasoning. He did play his Hallowed Fountain tapped, which means he probably does not have a Dissipate. So he's just expecting to Wrath my board next turn. So I think that I'm just going to shock myself.
Okay, so you're at 18.
And we'll cast a Domri.
Sure.
We'll +1 the Domri.
Okay.
Reveal a Hellrider.
Yep.
Okay. And you have 6 cards?
Yes.
So definitely I'm just going to attack with both of these 2 creatures. So I'm going to leave back the Mystic and just attack with those.
No blocks.
No effects.
All right, I got a 17.
And I'll pass the turn. So leaving this back is twofold. I want to be able to use it as a blocker if he wanted to try and attack my Domri with a Snapcaster Mage, but it's also worth getting rid of his Azorius Charm.
I will just cast a Supreme Verdict.
I'm going to eat your Charm.
Sure. Your turn.
Alright, now we definitely need to draw a land. That is not what the doctor ordered. A +1.
Okay.
I'll leave it there. And we'll attack.
I'll go to 14.
And I'll pass.
Your turn.
Yeah, 5 cards.
Yes.
Okay, so he probably has a Restoration Angel. I think I'm just going to +1 Domri.
Okay.
Let's see here. So I can play this and attack. And if he has a Restoration Angel, he'll get to eat my Hell Rider. He'll take 4 and go to 10. I think it's much safer to just... I probably should have Domried after combat in cases he has another Azorius Charm. I'm just going to attack with the front of 4.
I'm just going to take 3.
Okay.
11.
And now I'm going to actually cast this Hell Rider post-combat.
Sure.
And I'll pass.
All right. We're in an interesting position here. We don't have any way to pressure his Domri, so if it just ultimates, we're probably not winning this game.
I was definitely sure you had a Resto Angel, so I post-combat in my Hell Rider.
Yeah. No, I did not. So we basically have 2 options here. Like, one is go for this. And then the other is go for this. And basically, like, this line is better because our life total is pretty low right now. But it does let him ultimate Domri, which I'm not sure we can possibly beat. So I think we honestly have to just go for this line, which is a little unfortunate because there are a number of cards he could have that would just cause us to basically instantly lose. But we're going to go for it anyway. And play Sulphur Falls and say go.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to +1 Domri.
Sure.
So there's a good chance that he has a War Leader's Helix. Well, I guess, yeah, he probably has a Helix for the Hell Rider. So, let's see here. I'm going to shock.
All right, so you get a 16?
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to jam this Thundermaw. Okay.
Yep.
Combat.
Okay.
3 triggers.
Go to 8. All right, well, that forces our hand, unfortunately. I will play Restoration Angel. And then I will also just play a Naked Snapcaster Mage. We basically have to kill his Hell Rider here, and I have to kill this Hell Rider with Restoration Angel, and if I do that, I'm taking 8, and I'm at 8, so I'm dead. So I unfortunately have to just jam the Snapcaster Mage for no value as well. So Snapcaster will block Flinthoof Boar, and I'll go ahead and eat the Hell Rider here. I'll go to 3.
Yep.
Alternatively, I could have played Restoration Angel to block Thunder Malachite and then Snapcastered Supreme Verdicts, but he just gets the ultimate Domri, and I don't see myself ever beating that, so I think I have to take this line here and then hope to draw something relevant. Draw. And, yep, I have 4 lands, so yeah. I have more land than I needed. But
yeah, I'd trample.
Yeah, basically, if you had, like, anything, I mean, I'm actually dead even if you don't have anything, but. All right, we are back for game numero dos, and this hand's a keeper.
My hand is a big pile of poo.
Okay.
So we're going to be going to 6.
All right. Yeah, this hand is pretty much, like, it has, like, this, which is, like, very good early on in the game. And then, like, this is going to be very good, on, like, kind of in the mid-game. And then this is just going to bridge the gap right here. So I'm pretty happy with this hand, and hopefully it plays out pretty well.
All right, so we're back with my 6. And it's not the most powerful hand I've ever seen, but I am going to keep it.
Okay. So there's definitely a consideration of which of these two we lead on. And I think I'm pretty sure it's this one here because of this card. If we draw a buddy land, we can avoid like taking damage. So we're going to lead on Steam Fence and say go.
Go.
All right. Draw. Now we are going to take 2 damage, go to 18, and pass the turn.
All right, so that leads me to believe that he's either going to cycle an Azorius Charm, or draw a card to think twice, or he could just have Syncopate. So we'll play our pig.
Old Piggy. Piggy resolves.
The old 2/2 pig.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I will think twice. All right. Draw. So we have a few options here. We can do this and then hold open for this, or we can do this and flash that back. And as much as I would like to pull this one, I think we have to just do this because of the threat of Domri. So I'm going to go to 16 and pass the turn to you.
Well, that smells like a Dissipate. 100%. Alright,
and not just because I was talking about, you know.
Oh, I didn't hear any of that. All I heard was the shock myself pass.
Mm.
So I'm just going to battle.
Okay. I'll take 2, go to 14.
We'll play Domri.
All right. I will dissipate that.
He is exiled.
And
Not
we
pass.
go. Draw. All right. Now I think we are. Now I think we pull the trigger on the Pillar of Flame, and then just play this tapped, and we can do these if we need to. Your turn.
All right, so I can either go with this or this, and I feel like at this point this is going to be the best option since we actually get to get some value out of it immediately. So I'm going to play Scavengers.
Yeah.
And then we're going to eat the Think Twice.
Sure.
And I'll pass.
All right, so we're not going to play this because of the ooze. We're just going to...
You're not going to think?
I'm not going to think. We're just going to go ahead and untap. All right, so now we can play this, and I think we just pass the turn here because we can do both of these if we need to, and I don't think it's worth pulling this on that guy. And then this doesn't work because he has a green open to eat our Pillar of Flame if he needs to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pass the turn.
I'll eat your pillar and your end step.
All right, Pillar eaten.
That sorcery is gone. And I'll draw a card.
Good old Domri. Domri resolves.
I'm gonna +1.
Okay.
We will leave it there, begrudgingly. And let's see here. So I basically can attack or not attack, and I think that I'll just attack. I think attacking is fine.
Okay, we can do this if we want to, but I think we're better off just doing both of these, hoping to draw a War Leader's Helix to take out that Domri. So I'll take 2, go to 12.
I'll pass.
Alright, I will go ahead and think twice, draw, and then I'll flashback think twice, draw.
And unfortunately, even though it's my turn, I still can't stop you.
Sadly, those were not the draws we were looking for. We're currently at 12. Unfortunately, I think we have to shock ourselves here and go to 10. We may end up wanting to go this plus this, and shocking ourselves gives us that opportunity. And I still think it would be wrong to pull the trigger on this right now, so I'm just going to pass the turn. Fortunately, he had the second Domri. It's probably like the best card in his deck against us, if we don't have an answer for it, which we have not. Sure.
Again.
Ooze, okay.
You ooze, you lose. We'll play another forest.
Let's get the old fistful of forest.
Yeah, it's almost like I talked earlier about wanting another red source. So let's I'm gonna play the second news.
Sure.
And then I'll battle.
We will take 2 to the 8.
I'll pass.
I could use this card, but I'd rather save it and not let like his ooze eat it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw. And here I will cast a Supreme Verdict.
You got it.
And I will just play a tap Steam Vents and pass the turn back.
Up Domri.
Sure. Mystic, okay.
He's jumping into the fray.
He has jumped into the fray.
I'll pass.
Will it be enough? Alright, I will think twice end of turn.
Sure.
Draw. Alright, that is what we needed to draw. We are in business at this point. Draw for turn. That's also a good one. Pass the turn. Domri's at 7. Strangleroot Geist. Okay. Assume this is probably a Strangleroot Geist. It is. Sure, it resolves.
Combat.
Sure.
Just the Geist.
All right, attacking with just the Geist. So we have a couple options. One is this. We can play this and block, but there's a couple of cards he could have that would make that bad. One of them is like either a Gore Clan Rampager or a Mizium Mortars. So we want to be able to kill his Domri guaranteed. So I think it would be a mistake to do that. I think we're better off just taking 2 here. So no blocks.
Okay.
Go to 6. All right, and he has another Scavenging Ooze. How many cards do you have? 3?
4 cards.
4 cards. Okay. Yep, that resolves.
I'm going to try and eat your thing twice.
Okay, I'm going to flash it back in response.
Go ahead.
Alright, and we will play Restoration Angel. Okay, that is not a bad draw. We're going to go ahead and attack Domri, the Restoration Angel. Take Domri down to 4, and then we'll finish her off with the War Leader's Helix. So I go up to 10, and you are still at 20. And I will just go ahead and pass the turn.
I will... 4 cards?
Yep.
I'm going to eat your War Leader's Helix.
Sure.
And I do that because, you know, just if he happens to like have a removal spell for the use when I do this one activation, I'd much rather take away his access to the War Leader's Helix than to just put a counter on the use at this point. All right, so we have a couple different options here. So I think that for starters, we're just going to Mortars the Angel.
It is dead.
And then we're going to combat.
I have no blocks.
I will eat your Angel.
Okay.
And then I'll eat my Ooze.
Okay.
No, it's 2. No more fix.
Alright, so this is currently 5 damage, which would put us at
6 damage.
Yeah, 6 damage, which would put us at 4. So basically we have the option of playing one of these if we want to. Or we can just take it all, is another option. Our plan is to cast this next turn, so the question here is like whether or not it's worth taking 6 to be able to cast this profitably, or whether we're better off like not taking damage this turn. So we're at 10 right now. It's also reasonable to yeah. would also be reasonable to play this on the Strangroot Geist. But I think I think I'm just going to take 6 here. That could end up coming back to bite us, but I think that's a better option.
Go.
Okay. All right, Supreme Verdict.
I'll eat the other one.
Okay. And I will also go ahead and Pillar of Flame that Strangroot Geist. Pass the turn to you. Yep.
+1. Go.
I think we're going to run out Snapcaster here, naked, which kind of sucks, but we need to be able to kill that Domri. So, and draw. I will attack Domri. I will Restoration Angel, Snapcaster Mage, and Pillar Flame Domri. And pass the turn to you.
Go.
Alright. So now we're basically a Sphinx's Revelation away from being in complete control. He probably has like either Hellriders or Thundermaws or both in his hand. So we need to be wary of not dying to those. But
18.
I have you at 20 actually. You gain 2 with Scavenging Ooze.
Oh yeah.
So there's merit to casting this to draw a card, but I kind of want to save it. Just in case he draws one of those, so I'll pass the turn. In case he draws a red source.
Go.
Alright, did not draw a red source. So, draw. Go ahead and attack.
18.
Pass the turn again.
Go.
Alright, now I will pull the trigger and draw 1 card. And go from there. Attack. Shoot 16. Pass. There is the mountain. Alright, Thundermaw Hellkite does resolve.
Attack.
I will Restoration Angel, Snapcaster Mage, and Azorius Charmet.
Go.
Draw. So we always drawing Thundermaw next turn. And we're just going to go ahead and
11.
put him in 11. Your go. Yep. Put it back on top. Yep.
Are you just dead to Thundermaw?
Yep, I'm just dead to Thundermaw. Yeah.
Oh, told you. This deck needs another red source. There's the Rev.
Alright, well, that was pretty unfortunate. Alright, we are back for sideboarding. As for myself, I am going to be cutting 3 Pillar of Flames and 2 Dissipates for 2 Detention Spheres and a Ratchet Bomb because I know that this deck is going to be boarding and Burning Earth against me, and I need to have as many answers as I possibly can.
Plus, they also answer Domri.
They also answered Domri, as you saw in the first 2 games. Like, even though the second game he didn't have a second red source for a long time, the 2 Domris like got him so much card advantage over the course of the game, and I ended up just flooding out and losing. So I really need to have answers to that card, or I'm just going to lose to it. I'm bringing in a single Thundermaw Hellkite as well. This is mostly to pressure Domri and also pressure him. I feel like a lot of games, like, I'll actually be able to race him profitably with all the removal I have. And especially if it has Burning Earth, like if I can stick this before he sticks to Burning Earth, I can actually like feasibly beat it just by racing. So yeah, I like bringing in Thundermaw Hellkite as well. And then just 1 copy though, I don't want to flood out on him. And I'm bringing in Turn Burn as another answer to his Thundermaw Hellkite, since I don't have a whole lot of answers to those guys. So that's basically what I bring in. I'm not sure if cutting Dissipate is right or not. It could also be better to cut like Syncopate, but Dissipate costs 3, and he has like Mana Accelerants, and it's a lot of times awkward to hold open for it, so I want to cut the more expensive counterspell. And then 3 Pillar of Flames, they do kill Strangleroot Geist, and they do kill his mana guys, but that's pretty much it. And the cards I care most about are like the Hell Riders and Thundermaw Hellkites, and I want to ensure that I actually have removal that deals with those guys, and Pillar doesn't touch them. And it rarely will kill. It can sometimes kill Scavenging Ooze, but most of the time it's not going to.
Definitely. It's also important to notice that Dissipate versus Syncopate against this deck. The reason this deck is so powerful is it's playing all of the best cards that it can at each point in the curve. And so like this deck wants to utilize its mana every turn. We did notice in the first 2 games, though, I was playing around Syncopate as much as I could. But there's always going to come to a point where you just can't anymore, and you just get got by it sometimes. Like, if the Syncopate is making me play my Domri on turn 4 instead of turn 2, then it did its job in my opinion.
Yeah, and maybe I've drawn like a Helix or a Restoration Angel or something to do with it by that point anyway. So.
Yeah, like every time I've played around it, you haven't even had it. So
yeah.
it's been good just having it. I definitely, for sideboarding this deck, I'm definitely bringing in the Burning Earths. I know I want to cut a Mizzium Mortars. The problem with this deck is when we're bringing in 4 non-creature spells and cutting creatures, it makes our Domris worse post-board. Like, we're already at 29 creatures, so we're just under a 50% most of the time. And if we look there over those last 2 games, I activated Domri 4 times and drew 4 cards, so it's like right at the 50% mark for it. But I still want to keep 2 Mortars in, and Domri is just so good against his deck. I don't want to cut a Domri. Most of the time when I bring in Burning Earths, I would cut 1 Domri, but I don't want to cut a Domri. So I'm just going to cut 2 Hell Riders and a Gorkline Rampager. Hell Rider can be tough to cast sometimes, and Rampager is a card that, like, I'm not going to use them very aggressively. I'm going to sit on them, so I don't need to have the full 4. Like, by the time I need to use one, I'll have one if I only have 3 in my deck.
Okay. Yep.
So let's see.
All right, let's see how it goes. Turn 2 Domri, turn 3 Burning Earth. All right, I will be up first.
Yet again.
And I will be mulliganing this. 1 land, not going to get the job done.
Oh man, I want to keep this so bad.
Wow. Yeah, it's an
If
easy
these are
mulligan.
lands, I just keep.
Yeah.
Triple Burning Earth. YOLO.
Yeah, we'll keep this hand. It's not super exciting, but it's hopefully good enough. So, how about yourself?
With my 6, I'm in the exact same boat, so
Okay.
yeah.
We'll lead with that because we have this. Just gives us the widest range of options. Draw. I feel like we just want to buy time, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and burn his Arbor Elf right now. Just to hopefully he kept a landlight hand and we just get to screw him over for a few turns.
My turn.
Yep.
It's not very nice trying to mana screw me.
Didn't work.
Ooze you lose.
Alright, the old ooze plan. So I want to save this for one of his important spells. So we're actually just going to go ahead and use this one on his Scavenging Ooze. And I'll play Steam Vents. Here we go.
Go ahead. I guess I could have waited on the ooze since I didn't have a 3-drop to play this turn.
Your turn. Here comes the old Burning Earth. Gorklan. Okay.
Good old country 4/4.
Yeah. No country for 4/4s.
Oh, and you have your island?
Yeah, I just have it all.
Oh.
Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and cast Aggro, or as I like to call it, Maritime Guard. Ooh, we hit a spell.
Oh, no.
Hit
Oh,
a
no.
Sphinx's Revelation. I didn't even realize that card was in my deck. So
I was hoping you'd miss your land drop.
I'll play a Moorland Haunt and ship it off to you. Thundermaw, yep. Ugh, that's unfortunate. I think we're in soak up damage mode at this point, so I will soak up damage.
Alright, so 5 and 1 is 6.
Yep, I got a 14. Augur dies a horrible death,
I'll pass.
and I will turn him into a 1/1 spirit in end step. So I'm sure there are spirits here somewhere.
No.
Yep.
Alright.
So we have two options here. One is to cast this. The other is to cast this to soak up damage. I think we're gonna go for this route. If he has another Thundermaw Hellkite, then we're in a small bit of trouble. But we're gonna hope he doesn't. So I'm gonna shock myself and go to 12. And pass the turn. Alright, let's see it. Yep.
Trigger.
Alright, I'll Revelation for 3. Go to 1. 1, 2, and 3. Alright.
Go ahead. We'll stack them up for you.
You know, it would be pretty sweet if I had a Supreme Verdict, but I don't, so.
Well, I guess I'll stack up the 2 for the D-Sphere then.
Yep. Yeah, we will definitely be giving those to the D. So, yep. D-Sphere those guys, and pass the turn. We're really hoping we don't get Burning Earth here, since we don't exactly have any outs to that one. Thundermaw number 3. Hellrider.
Cards?
4.
I'm definitely seeing a Azorius Charm coming here.
You would have the second Thundermaw Hellkite.
The third, you mean? Oh, when I
meant
had
the
it?
last
Yeah.
turn, yeah. It was a risky line, but I think it was better. I think it was better in the long run to make that play. Because the odds are he doesn't always have it. So.
I think he has an Azorius Charm, so if I attack and he just gets to Time Walk me, that's bad. So I think I'm just going to play this tap to go to combat,
Sure.
and I'll pass the turn.
Okay. All right. That bodes very well for us. That means we're not.
I'm hoping that you have the charm and I didn't just like pass with an on board, but we'll see what happens.
That bodes very well for us. We're not losing to a Burning Earth or another Thundermaw Hellkite, which means he doesn't have a whole lot right now, and we get to just pass the turn here. Don't draw it. Strangleroot Geist. Sure.
Combat.
Sure. So I don't think he has another Gore-Clan Rampager, or he would have probably just cast it last turn. same thing with Strangle Root Geist. He would have jammed it. He obviously drew that off the top. So odds are he doesn't have. Yeah, odds are he doesn't have another Gorklan Rampager. So I think we're safe to play around that. And I will go ahead and think twice as the first thing here. See what we have to look at. It's an interesting draw. I will go ahead and Restoration Angel. And I will block Strangle Root with the Restoration Angel.
Okay.
And I'll Charm your Gorklan Rampager.
You have 2 cards?
2.
Go ahead.
The fact that he's tanking there either means he's just bluffing with 2 lands, but I think it could also mean that he has a Mizium Mortars, and he's trying to bait us into hoping our Restoration Angel's like good enough with his Mizium Mortars. So we're still at 1 life though, and that Strangle Root is still representing lethal, as they say in the business. So we are forced to just pass the turn here. And we know he's drawing a Gorklan Rampager off the top. So this is probably that Mizium Mortars. Yep. Alright, so he does have the Mizium Mortars. Yeah, it's going to resolve.
Combat?
Sure. Alright, sending in the Strangle Root Geist. We have to play Snapcaster here. We could also Moorland Haunt actually is a thing too, but I think it's better to like try to get that Strangle Root Geist like out of play completely. So I'll go ahead and Snapcaster, and I have to target either Izzet Charm or Azorius Charm with Snapcaster to be able to deal with Strangle Root Geist if he Gorklans it.
Well, I might have a response to the Snapcaster cast.
Okay. He could Gorklan his Strangle Root Geist in response to the Snapcaster.
But then that just forces you into the Azorius Charm.
Right, which leaves us, yeah.
So I think I'm not going to respond.
Okay. We have to target Azorius Charm, which, for one, it's the best card to play if he doesn't, since we could draw a card off it, if he doesn't Gorklan. And if he does Gorklan in response to the target on the stack of Izzet Charm or Turn and Burn, then we actually just die. So I'll target Azorius Charm, and I'll go ahead and block. So now we force him into how he wants to play his Gorklan Rampager.
That's fine.
Alright, so these will trade off.
Yep.
And we have an Azorius Charm chilling out there. And, yeah. Alright, so he casts Gorklan. I think our first order of business is going to be drawing a card with Azorius Charm just to see what we hit, so we know like what we want to play around. And then whether we like what we want to do with that Gorklan Rampager. And since we drew this, think twice, we're going to actually cast that too. Draw. Since we do this, I think we have to just syncopate for 1 here. And risk like whatever the top of his deck is. I think since we don't have an answer to the Gore Clan right now, we have to be able to remove it. So, all right, my go.
Yeah.
Draw. That's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. Definitely gives us an option. We can play this in Flashback Think Twice, or use Moorland Haunt, or we can just go for this. And I think we want to go for this because I think we want to go for this one because we are at 1 right now, and we want to draw. We want to draw as many answers as we can before he has a chance to draw like a Burning Earth or something else that kills us. So. So I think I actually just do this main phase. Go ahead and Revelation for 5. Go to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that was pretty bad, but that happens sometimes. Go. Okay, go to 3.
Go.
Alright, I'm going to play Thundermaw Hellkite. Let's go ahead and get aggressive here. And I think we attack 4 or 5.
15.
Might be better to hold it back, but I do want to put him on a clock and give him less time to kill us here, so pass it off.
Combat.
Before attacks, I'll Helix your Flint Hoof 4. Inside your combat step before attacks. It's important to do that before he has a chance to Gore Clan it if he draws that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Alright, since he's passing back to us, I feel pretty good about our position here. We could obviously still lose, but it seems... Alright, after that draw, I think we're pretty much in the driver's seat. Go ahead and play Moorland Haunt and attack for 5.
10.
And I'll pass to you. Strangleroot Geist. You have 1 card? Okay, resolves. Go ahead and activate Moorland Haunt and block. Since Thundermaw is a 2-turn clock anyway, there's no reason to try to get aggressive with spirits. Alright. Okay, so we take 5.
Yep.
Go to 2.
Go ahead.
Alright, I will flashback both Think Choices, I think. 1 and 2. Wow. that is pretty unrealistic. I will attack.
5.
Go ahead.
All right.
Syncopate for 4.
And I'm dead.
Yep. All right, back for another game.
This time I get to be on the play.
It's true.
And I did make some changes when sideboarding. I ended up cutting all of the Rampagers and bringing the Hellriders back in and a Zealous Conscripts, because I felt like after playing that game, Rampager was just really bad. It's just a liability to try and use it to get in damage, and I'd much rather just cast a Hellrider for 4 mana than Rampager.
Right, that sounds right.
And I'm going to keep my 7.
I'll keep this as well. This hand's not amazing, but hopefully good enough. So.
Mine's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
so.
obviously.
18. Go ahead.
Yours. Yep.
+1. Go ahead.
So we can go for this and this, but it's probably best to just cast this and start ticking it up as early as we can. So Ratchet Bomb. Go.
+1.
Yep.
So I can either just play both of these, or I can just this and get in for some damage. And I think that I'd rather just do that.
Okay, I got a 16.
Go ahead.
I will put a counter on the bomb.
Yep.
Draw. Your go.
I'll +1 down there.
Sure. Okay.
Combat.
Sure. Take 6. Go to 10.
I'll pass.
Think twice. And take up Ratchet Bomb. Just forced to cast Supreme Verdict here. I'm just under a lot of pressure and threat of dying, so fortunately have to just verdict, pass it off to you.
So he gets to ultimate, or he gets to use his Ratchet Bomb to kill my Domri next turn. So I think that I just need to try and put him under as much pressure as possible right now. So I'm just going to +1 Domri.
Okay.
And it is yet another whiff. And I think that I just... You have 5 cards?
Yes.
I'm going to cast Zealous Conscripts.
Okay, resolves.
I'm going to target your Action Bomb.
Super unfortunate for us.
I don't think I've ever done this before.
Well, he's either gonna he can take it and just not use it. So we have to just go ahead and use it. And we can either take it, if we take it up to 3, then he gets to take it up to 4. So our best bet here is just to kill a Strangler Ghost. 7.
Go.
Our draws have been very bad. We have not drawn anything. We have no way to stop his Domri from ultimating, so we just have to pass the turn.
Ultimate Domri.
Sure.
Combat.
Sure. No blocks.
So you need 2. We'll go to 9. I'm just going to pump 3 times.
It's game. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This hand is pretty good, so I'm definitely going to keep this one. So.
Mine is, it's a little clunky, but it has some very powerful cards. And we are on the draw, so Lady Luck be with me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Him not having a turn 1 mana, guys, is pretty sweet. Makes our hand a lot better.
Right on time.
The old Arbor Elf.
Go ahead.
So I definitely want to kill that guy to kind of keep him slowed down, and I think this is the card to do it because I want to keep both of these. So I'll go ahead and burn him. All right, not a terrible one. Your go.
So we can either go with this or this, and I feel like this is just going to be the safest bet for now. So we're just going to play Stranglegeist.
Strangleroot Geist. As awkward as it is, I think I'm going to syncopate for 2, as much as I don't want to do that.
Go ahead.
Basically, I want to just build up my board, and I basically want to keep him from like pressuring me long enough to be able to cast this card. So, here you go.
So we have 2 options. We can definitely go with this or this, and I think that this is just going to end up being the better choice because it does play around a Snapcaster. Syncopate.
Alright, we're going to use our Is It Charm to counter that unless he pays 2.
It is a non-creature spell.
It is.
Go ahead.
That was just what the doctor ordered right there. As was that. Your turn.
Alright, so we're just kind of in this position where we are. You have 3 cards?
Yep.
Where we're forced to just like kind of just jam our spells. So that's just what we're gonna do.
Burning Earth. I think we're gonna snap. Is it Charm it? We could snap Syncopated as well, but I'd rather save the Syncopate. Is it Charm's pretty much the same thing as Turn and Burn in our graveyard right now, so We'll go ahead and do that. Mystic, sure.
Go
You have one
ahead.
card or two cards?
cards.
Draw. So we could pull the trigger on this, but we're not really under any pressure, and I'd rather just hold for these. So, well, yeah, I'll just pass the turn. I think it's better to try to get a bigger one of these off. If he has a second Burning Earth, that could be an issue, but it may cause us to change our minds. The thing with this card is if we did want to cast this card, main phasing it is the best time because then we get to hit a land and play it for turn. Alright. $19.
Go.
I'm going to go ahead and use Azorius Charm to draw a card. I'm just trying to hit a land here to make the Revelation bigger, so I'll think twice as well. Draw. I'll play Moorland Taunts, and we'll pass the turn back. So now I probably still don't want to do this. I probably want to wait one more turn with this, and use like the Moorland Haunts and the think twice this turn. Hell Rider. Currently at 19.
Yep.
I will flashback a think twice in response to that. See if we draw a way to deal with it. That resolves.
I'll attack 2 triggers.
Okay, I go to 17. I'm going to turn this Snapcaster Mage into a Spirit and block Elvish Mystic with it.
Yep.
So I'll end up going to 14. It's all said and done.
Go ahead.
Draw. You have one card?
Mm-hmm.
It may be time to pull the trigger on this, but I can wait until his turn. I don't think I want to use this because I don't want to lose to like a top deck Burning Earth, which we would definitely do if we use that. So I think we actually just pass the turn here. And hopefully he doesn't have like a second Hell Rider or something equally as dirty. Sure.
Trigger.
I go to 13. And I will not block.
No effects.
10.
Go.
Alright, I will Revelation for 4. Back to 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. And draw for turn. Alright. I will go ahead and shock myself down to 12, and I'll ship the turn after that.
Combat.
Inside your combat step, I will Helix your Hell Rider. Go to 16.
Go.
Arbor Elf does resolve. Think twice. The reason we shocked ourselves there is because if he plays like a Thundermaw Hellkite, we get to do like this, think twice, and Helix. So, seemed like worth it, especially since our life total is pretty high right now. And if he doesn't do anything, we could also consider casting this. Which I think at this point we are probably going to attempt to do that. So we'll go ahead and pass the turn.
Combat.
Sure. No blocks. 15.
Go.
Alright, I'll go ahead and Sphinxes for 6. Go to 21. So I could like think twice and just wait, but I basically want to draw as many cards as I can right now to be able to like lock this game out as soon as possible. I don't want to give him a chance to draw like a couple of powerful cards before I have a chance to lock the game out. So I think at this point, we're pretty much good on the whole lock the game out thing. Our hand is pretty stacked. Go ahead and cast Aggro Bolus to start things out. Take turn burn. Play a Hallowed Fountain tapped. We have 11 cards. Go ahead and discard. Definitely discarding these, and probably discard Azorius Charm as well. Here we go.
Alright, well, we definitely have a lot of options here. We can either go with this one, or this one.
Ooh. Is it Stomping Ground, Forest, or Mountain?
But I'm going to go with this one.
Alright. Old Basic Mountain is a strong
Go ahead.
We will go ahead and resto our Aggro Bolus. War Leader's Helix. And flashback Think Choice. Actually, no, I'll keep the Think Choice, since we would have to discard in our hand. It already has everything we need, so no reason to use the card. Draw. We can go ahead and shock ourselves. We're not under any pressure from anything, so in case we need to maximize our mana, might as well. And we'll tap for 4.
16.
Just try to close the game out as quickly as we can. Your go. Flint Hoof Boar does resolve.
Haste.
Does resolve. I will Restoration Angel my Augur of Bolas.
Sure.
How unlucky.
Oh, man.
And we'll go ahead and block like this.
Nope.
Let's see, you're at 16 right now. 2, 6.
Dead to Dragon Helix.
Flashback Think Choice. At this point, we'll go ahead and flash it back and try to kill him next turn. Alright, that was what we needed to kill him next turn. I'll Helix you.
12.
So you go down to 12, I go to 23. Draw. Send for 7.
5.
I will burn you. I
3.
will Snapcaster Helix you.
Dead.
Alright, so we are here for the conclusion of our epic battle of
Extremely epic.
green-red versus blue-white-red. It was somewhat close. I felt like the green-red deck was definitely ahead in the matchup, which is pretty much my inclinations coming in. I know Kibler built that deck to prey on like Jund and blue-white-red, which were the decks he expected to play at the World Championship, and that was 13 of the 16 decks there, so he definitely did play those decks.
Yeah, called it.
Yep. So yeah, I think the matchup's like definitely a little bit in your favor, and I feel like the blue-white-red deck probably needs to adapt a bit to be better prepared to beat. Like I felt like Thundermaw, Hellkite, and Domri were the 2 hardest cards for me to deal with. So I think building the blue-white-red deck to be able to like beat those cards more effectively is definitely like in their best interest at this point.
I agree. I think that the blue-red decks definitely should be playing some number of Renounce the Guilds as an answer to Domri as we move forward. Like, there's an easy way just to kill it. It also interacts favorably against the hexproof deck.
Right.
And it's good against like all of the other like mono red or aggressive red decks play Boros Reckoner anyways. So it's always going to be a removal spell.
Yeah. Yeah, Renounce seems solid. I felt like, at least in this matchup, I felt like if you had a turn 1, like if you were on the play and had like a turn 2 Domri, the game is just over, regardless of like the rest of the cards. Like even if you're bricking on Domri, like unless I draw a War Leader's Helix in time, which I wasn't, you get to ultimate it before I get to do anything.
Yeah,
So
like I was only on the play for one of the games. In that
Right.
game, I did have turn 1 mana guy, turn 2 Domri, and it just stole the game.
yeah, like I just
completely by
didn't.
itself. And
I basically
even,
didn't have a chance in that one. Like
Yeah.
it felt like I was very far behind. So I think I'm not sure like what the blue white red deck wants to be able to deal with those draws, but like maybe it's main deck detention sphere, maybe it's like Oblivion Ring, like just something,
something.
to be able to handle permanence like that, because that is definitely a problem. Like Planeswalkers are seeing a lot of play right now, and I can definitely see that being a huge problem for this blue white red deck. So
Definitely, like Oblivion Ring, Detention Sphere, both answered Planeswalkers. I mean, they even answer like Liliana out of the green black deck, or Garruk out of the Junk Reanimator deck. So they probably have to move towards playing 1 or 2 in the main at some point.
Or like even Garruk Primal Hunter out of Jund. There's a lot
Yeah.
of powerful Planeswalkers right now. I think having answers to those is definitely worthwhile.
And I feel like they're much better game 1 than they are post board, because a lot of decks have some type of enchantment hate that they might potentially bring in. Because like if your only answer to my Garruk Primal Hunter is your Oblivion Ring, I'm probably going to bring in
Abrupt Decay or something.
Abrupt Decay, or even like Ogari Charm can kill the enchantment and save my guys to a Supreme Verdict.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, having a game 1 before people have like the right hate cards seems pretty useful. It seemed like most of the time, if the game went long, I was going to win. The exception was game 2, where I just didn't hit a Sphinx's Revelation. Yeah, I just drew like 12 lands.
And I was just like stuck with 1 red mana with a billion dragons in my
Yeah,
hand
you were just
forever.
stuck on 1 red mana, and I just couldn't kill you fast enough to capitalize on it. And I just ended up flooding out. But outside of that, it felt like the game's like, even the game where you had double Thundermaw to kill my spirit and take me to 1, just being able to, Revelation, like, I felt like if I cast a big Revelation, I won the game. Almost regardless of what I hit. Like, some of my Revelations were really bad, like, 5 lands or whatever, but I still drew so many cards that I was still, and gained a lot of life, I was still far enough ahead to close the game out. So I think, like, for at least the strategy for blue white red has to be to just, like, play as defensively as you can to preserve your life total to get to a point of Revelation. And I feel like
Definitely, and that's like nothing new. Like,
yeah, that's nothing new there.
That's like Revelation's game plan.
Yeah.
And so like the way that the green red deck tries to combat it is with Domri creating card advantage and some sort of inevitability. Like you just can't interact once I get the emblem. Thundermaw Hellkite pushing through enough damage to kill you, through the mid-size Revelation that you use as the stepping stone. And then Burning Earth post board is a way to just negate the Revelations. And I feel like Game 5 was a good example of the type of game plan Blue-White-Red has to have on the play against this deck, where you have to have, removal, counterspell, snap counter, and then there's just zero chance for you to lose the game if you happen to draw that half of your deck.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's just over. Like if you didn't have the snap counter for the Burning Earth, I
had a detention sphere,
like you were drawing to one of your two detention spheres, and if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you just have zero chance of winning.
Yeah, definitely. So like, that's definitely a scary thought, but like at the same time, blue white red still wins a lot because a lot of times they just have those draws.
I mean, the cards are good, so.
But yeah, to go with like what I was saying about like blue white red's game plan, I think green red's game plan has to be, like, you have to take into consideration what the blue white red player is planning on doing and play like accordingly. Like I think as a green red player, you want to overextend into Supreme Verdicts and things like that, because if you're trying to hold back to play around cards like that, you're just going to lose.
You're just giving them time.
Yeah, you're just giving them time. So I think having played this side of the matchup has given me a little bit of perspective on that side of the matchup as well.
Yeah.
So
the other option is treating it similar to how like Brad with the old Junk Aristocrats deck used to fight Jund. So you would, as soon as they, like the turn before they start being able to have Huntmaster mana, you just start jamming your threats. So they have to answer your threats, and they could just never play their good spells against you. So like that last game, I could have like waited a turn or two before I just started playing like Domri and Burning Earth, and that way it gets to a point where you're just not able to snap off this Revelation because you're having to spend your mana handling the threats that I'm casting. So that's just was also another option that I thought about, and I think it could be applicable against the Sphinx's Revelation decks.
yeah, it's definitely possible. Yeah. Like in the case where I had like both Is It Charm and Syncopate, like I was still like good against that plan. But yeah, like that's definitely a reasonable line to consider. Like if I'm not actually doing anything, maybe you can afford to wait like one extra turn.
Definitely.
Although I don't think playing around Is It Charm is something you should do. Like
Ever.
Yeah, like I had the Is It Charm. Like you played around Syncopate, right? But like just me having Is It Charm like changed things. So
yeah.
But yeah, overall, like I think this was pretty representative of how this matchup would go. Like, I think the green-red deck's favored, but it's close. So like a 3-2 is pretty much exactly what I would have expected out of this matchup coming in.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The other thing to look at is I was on the play only once out of the 5 games.
True, yeah.
So like I feel like on the play this deck has such a huge edge against the blue-white-red deck, and still being able to win those games, being on the draw, it just speaks to how powerful the cards are.
Yeah, I think that definitely speaks to the fact, like, to how good green-red is in this matchup. Just the fact that I felt like when you were on the draw, we were like on even footing.
Yeah.
And the game where you were on the play, like I just got obliterated. So yeah.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, we appreciate you guys watching. Keep an eye out for us every Friday.
Yep. Every Friday, the videos will be going up.
DVD versus CVM.
We definitely read every comment anybody posts. If you have any suggestions, things you like, things you didn't like, feel free to let us know. We're also just going to be looking for neat things that we can do in the future. We love just jamming these standard and legacy matchups that you guys want to see, but there's a market out there for just about anything, and if you want to see something, let us know, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, and even if like the thing you didn't like was BVD losing, let us know. Like, let us know. I'd be more than.
I think everybody's fine with that.
No,
let's be honest.
Clearly not true. Clearly not true at all. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we will hopefully see you next time as well.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.